Now, doing this drill for just 1 minute before you go and play will dramatically increase your distance and control, because the reason why so many golfers struggle as soon as they get onto that first tee for the first number of holes, because they're not completing their turn. And this drill will get you completing your turn via just a little bit of short amount of time just before you go play, will help tremendously. And I'm going to show you here out in my back garden. I'm going to do this, I'm going to show you, then I'm going to get out on the golf course and I'm going to go play a good few holes, and we're going to show exactly why this drill is so good and why you should all be doing it. So like we said, this drill will stop you from doing this, a swing where you do not get that full turn and you lose control over the golf ball. So what we need for this drill, we could either use a driver or we can use a long alignment stick like I've got here. Now, this is a drill you see so many of the top tour players doing, and technically it could be regarded as a stretch, but this gets you into that good technical position of getting a good full turn, which we're going to describe all the reasons why that's so useful. So what we do, grab, again, a stick or your driver, put it behind your shoulders just like so, and what I want you to do from here is really get that turn. And again, I am super stiff. Again, this is straight out of the house into the back garden. No golf balls have been hit. I'm not warm whatsoever. But if I grab a golf ball and I put it here in the middle of my stance, and I am going to turn and I'm going to get this part of the stick on my lead side to get to the golf ball, and if I do a good number of reps of those, let's say for a minute, could even do it for less, that's going to get me feeling a nice full turn for one, but it's also going to stretch me really nicely. So that's where we don't want being stiff and not completing a full turn to be something that's going to hinder us. Now, we should be going to the driving range, absolutely. I'm not going to do that today. I'm just doing this. So that's what a lot of you I know do. Before you go play, you just rush to the first tee. I'm guilty of that as well. So it's giving me that turn. So again, fresh out of it. I'm here with my foam balls into a net. Maybe you're hitting balls into the net to start off with, but doing a bunch of that is going to loosen you up and really get that body moving. So I would really get a bunch of them in there. If I am in a net or even on the driving range, I would do a bunch of these in between every single shot just to start off with. Again, I could do this for a minute, would be absolutely fine into a net, and that's going to really help me complete my turn and avoid disaster on those first few holes, which we're going to see me play in a few minutes time. There we go. So before I get in the car, drive to the golf course, let's talk about the cons of not completing your turn, so you know when you do that on the golf course, you know exactly what it is, and the pros of doing it, why it's so important. So, okay, number one, the cons that most amateur golfers suffer with when they're not getting a full completed turn, they'll try to create the speed in their downswing with the upper body first. They'll throw the club up over the top, just like you see with my friend there. Massive big slice. So when we don't have that coil up, we're not going to get the club sufficiently deep and around us enough to create some speed from there. We have to really overactively fire that chest. Big over the top swing, which is why you so often see players massively slice their shots off the first few holes. So secondly, a big con. Now this is all dependent from player to player. For me, without a big turn, what I will do, and you'll see the better golfers do this, is they will massively drop the club on the inside. They'll get it stuck halfway down because they'll still be trying to get the club on path subconsciously, and that'll really get them stuck if they overly do it too much and do it manipulation with their subconscious. And then again, you can have the same result. You can hit some blocks or big snap hooks from there as well. And we know just general, real short distance, because you're not getting that coil up, you're not going to be able to generate that much speed, and just poor striking. It throws off all your sequencing in a downswing. I often say that getting good backswing rotation is the key thing to be able to get good sequencing in a downswing. So just in a minute, we're going to get in the car, we're going to go down to the golf course. Let's talk about the pros just before we do that of getting a full turn, which this drill encourages you to do. One, a good full turn there. It's going to get you sufficiently deep at the top. So what does that mean? When we get a turn, when we rotate, the hands and arms follow where you're rotating. So that means your hands and arms are going to go more around you here. So the deeper we are, more back we are, the more into out you'll generally swing. So for over the top golfers who are too much up here with a lack of turn, swing over the top. If they get a full turn, they're going to get the club more around them. That's going to encourage them to swing more on path. Brilliant. So for those guys who get stuck, if you get a better coil up coming up, it's going to give you more time to have a good unwinding. Normally stuck guys in the downswing struggle with rotation in that downswing, and this will give them time to be able to move down. And that's one thing we didn't talk about as a con for not getting enough turn is you'll rush your downswing really quickly. If we get that full turn, you have all the time in the world then to gradually unwind and pick up speed. And like we know, a big coil up, getting that full turn will hugely help when it comes to creating distance. A bigger turn immediately correlates to more distance and better sequencing in that downswing. Because again, if you get that good coil up, you're then going to unwind better. Lower body, mid torso is going to start to work. The club's going to fall in a much better spot. So again, let me grab my long stick to get some turns. I feel very stiff. I have been on vacation for a good 2.5 weeks. I have not played in 3 weeks. So this is going to be a very good test today. I feel very stiff. I've just got back in the gym. I'm very sore. So I need a ton of this. And you're going to see me on the first tee box just before I go play. I'm going to be doing this exact same thing. So let's get to the golf course. Let's get to ROWALLAN Castle, which is my home club here on the west coast of Scotland. So guys, I made it to the golf course. Here I am, ROWALLAN Castle in Ayrshire in Scotland, and I am straight away, just before I tee off, doing that exact same drill to get myself limbered and loosened up after the small car journey I had. So here we go. First hole is just a par 4 dog leg to the right. We've got bunkers there, which are around 230 to 240 to cover. There is wind going into, because of course this is Scotland. You can't have a non-windy day. So absolutely, if I hit it slightly poor, it could theoretically go into that bunker for sure, with it being into the wind and being first tee shot of the day. And it tells you how this drill really helps you to loosen up to get that full turn, because this shot here I hit slightly off the bottom and slightly off the neck as well, which would generally be the spinniest drive you could hit, and that still went over those bunkers. So if there was no wind there, that would have been a very good decent distance of a drive, because I got the full turn, because then my speed was in a good spot. So here I've just got a little 9-iron. This green is surrounded by bunkers, especially bunkers short. I had around 145 to the flag and around 135 to cover the front of the bunker. So got a club out that would absolutely cover that, even with poor shots. Like I said, I'm quite rusty after 3 weeks of not playing in the golf, not swinging a golf club, being on vacation. So even if I am getting myself limbered and loose, I'm still going to be a little bit rusty. Well, you can see there, hit a good shot. And just at the back of the green, it ran through. Of course, sometime in Scotland, gets a little bit firm, the ground does. And I hit a great putt there. Lag putting, for me, is the best part of my game, in my opinion, along with ball striking. And absolutely, had a couple putts before I went on to the first tee as well, just to get the pace. There we go, nice par to start off with. So now par 3, we have got just around 140 yards, downwind, because this is the complete opposite way to the hole before, the first hole. And I normally hit my pitching wedge around 130 yards with a full normal swing. So that's exactly what I'm doing with a pitching wedge, downwind, and it's going to be about, of course, a club less than I'm going to hit. So this normally would be a 9-iron for this yardage, but I'm hitting pitching wedge. Again, the good full turn means I'm going to be getting pretty much the most out of my clubs with a nice, normal, smooth swing. Hit it, it goes slightly on the left-hand side of the green, but then takes a nice bounce and kicks towards the flag for a good chance at a birdie putt. But again, me getting that full turn really helped me nicely. And this drill, of course, is not going to do anything to help your putting, which would have been good if it did, because that was tracking all the way, and I just hit it short. Funny enough, what I said before, my speed control, my lag button's quite good. And there we go, I just leave one short. So still a good start there with all the rust that I've had, and absolutely getting myself loosened up. Of course, hit a few balls in the net at home, absolutely, before going into the car, but the amount of balls I hit there on camera was the amount of balls I hit entirely. I hit no more balls than that. So par 5 here, we've got bunkers on the left, bunkers on the right, bunkers on the left there. To carry that is around, again, about 230 or so. Now we're back into the wind again. Carry the bunkers all on the right to around 270, the last bunker. And there's a lot of room out onto the left. So there I hit a kind of slight pull, still got a nice full turn. Hit a great distance of drive as well, as that went really into the wind, finished around 280-ish. I was really happy with that distance. So again, because I got that full turn, I was able to be able to get that little bit more speed. So that's why the drill is so unbelievably helpful for you to get more distance and sequence things up, like we were saying. So I'm just laying up here for the second shot there. It's around 250. It's green, it's quite a long hole. And there's bunkers all around the front of the green, and I'll just bring that in if I hit 3-wood. So I'm just hitting a 6-iron down there. Little draw, absolutely fine. And now I've got just around, I believe it was about 80 or so yards here. So again, we're into the wind. So I'm taking more club. So I'm taking my 54-degree sandwich. And what I'm doing, I normally like to hit my wedges quite low.
So I've got this in normal middle of the stance, and I'm really going to try and cover the ball. And what we're going to see here, no tracer is needed, because you can see that ball stays completely under the frame of that video there, and it was an absolute awesome, nice little shot there, which leaves me with a really good chance for birdie. And so it's right to left breaker, and we'll see here I put a very nice stroke on it, and just drops in. So 3 holes there, 1 under par, no golf in 3 weeks, rusty. Did a good drill to warm myself up to get a good full turn, and I got a good result out of it. So make sure you do this drill.